Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick overview. In today's video, if it seems like I'm a little bit scatterbrained, it really isn't. That's how I design in my studio. And I was trying to come up with a color pattern that I hadn't decided on before the film. The card, yes, but not the actual filming. So hope you enjoyed this. Hi, this is Sheila with Stamping Wishes, and welcome to my studio. Today is my third project that I'm working on for my class that we're doing kind of virtual, as far as I'm doing the videos, and then they're picking up their packages probably tomorrow from me, all cut out and ready to be stamped and put together. Also today, and for the next several weeks, or a couple of weeks anyway, I will be featuring some of the retiring stamps and some of the ones that are my favorites and that I'll probably hang on to because they are my favorites. And then there's going to be some that are favorites of mine and have been, but it's time to let them go and move some of the new ones in. And that one I'm really excited about. But today, with sadness, I have to say that Daisy Lane bundle, which is one of my very, very favorites, is going to be retiring. And so here are the cards that I've made so far with it. And here's the original design. Isn't that pretty? Haven't put a greeting on that because I'm not sure who it's going to just yet. All right, this one, to kind of give you a little quick brief what I'm doing, is one of our my downline demonstrators, as well as a good friend and one of my club members, Brenda, her daughter-in-law works as a nurse in one of the hospitals, and so we're all on the club that is getting together and making several thank you cards for the staff there. They're getting hit pretty hard, and with that we need to be sure that we keep them knowing how thankful we are, as well as the other nurses and doctors in our field that are really working their hearts out. But a little thank you. So this is the thank you card, one of them that I've designed for that. This is the inside. Now I did this on my computer and then printed it out on our cardstock. But it says, thank you to our heroes, to the medical staff of Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, from someone who cares and prays you and your family stay healthy and safe. And I too pray that for all of our medical people in the field that are dealing with this terrible, terrible virus. So, all right, enough said. Let's go ahead and get started with today. All right, so we're going to be using the Daisy Lane bundle. I'm using both the Daisy large punch and the Daisy medium punch. Okay, and from that I'm using this one, and I'll use this one as a background stamp, and I hadn't pulled that one out yet, so I better do that before I forget. Okay, and let me put it on a block. Get it ready. All right, from this one is another one of ours that is retiring, the Parcels and Petals, beautiful set with the dies, and I'm going to miss this one as well. This one I'm using the thank you from it. Okay, and then I'm using the 2020 colors. I made the one that is here with our pineapple punch and our grapefruit grove. And now I'm going to the next one. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. I'm going to use the pineapple punch, and yeah, I think that we'll just use that in white. But we're using the designer paper out of this particular package, and this is the one I'm using today. Not sure if I'm going to go with stripes or polka dots, but we'll use one of them. Oh, you know what? I just thought that would be really pretty with the blues. Okay, change of plans here. I'm going to come in with the blueberry bushel, and we're going to use the yellow, the greens, and the yellows together, our yellow, white, greens together, and the blue. All right, so here we have our stitched shape frames, and what I did was to make this frame here, as you see right there, I took from our new beautiful stitched So Sweetly dies, the largest frame here. I placed that on my paper, and then I took this particular square and set it inside. I went ahead and cut the one piece I'm going to be using, and so I set it inside here and ran them together, and then I had a nice little window opening for our card, and that's how I did that one. Okay, so let's set these aside and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to use, I'm doing this color as we go, so bear with me a second on which color schemes I'm going to be doing here. Okay, so we're going to be using in our color schemes today, our card base is going to be our Granny Apple Green, one of my favorite colors. Love it. It's such a pretty springy, makes you feel good color. All right, so as you know, I like to take, when I'm doing my cards, I score it at 4 1/4, and then I come down and I cut it at 5 1/2, and this will give us our two card bases that we can use, one for now and one for later. And so we got our card base done. Then we want to come in with the white on top. I believe that's what we're going to use here. And so I need actually two of them, and we're going to cut one at, no, we'll only need one because I do already have my inside fixed for that one card. But if you're doing this where you're not using a pre-made greeting like I am, then you'll need two of these at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and we'll use that as this layer. I think this is going to, we're kind of doing this as we go here, so bear with me a second. And then we're going to be using, or do I want the yellow? Let's see. We're going to use blue, and we're going to have green. Do I like the yellow better than the, oh yeah. Okay, change of plans there. We're going to come in and cut this piece of yellow. See, that's the fun of making a card as you go, because you see something and it kind of clicks and say, oh no, that would be better. So we just change our mind and go with it. All right, so I think now we've got the colors we need there. And so now this piece that we're cutting, we need it to be at, let me get my measurements here because I just put this thing together. I want this to be at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's go ahead and go at 2 3/4 and 3 3/4 here. And that's going to be our background piece for behind here. Don't those colors look pretty together? Oh yeah. All right, and I went ahead and got some of my retired ribbon out, and I think I'm going to combine both the yellow and the green together here. I just absolutely love these types of ribbon, and I don't know, I haven't studied our new catalog yet. Demonstrators, if you are a demonstrator, gets a preview peek, which we've gotten to do this week. And so I haven't looked at the ribbons real well. I was looking at too many new stamp set bundles that I have my eye on, but we'll look at the embellishments and see how our ribbons look as well. I'm sure Stampin' Up! Did a good job. All right, so we've got these pieces here, and I think that's all we need for there, and the rest of it we'll get some scrap of white here, because we're going to need, there's a couple of scraps of white. We're going to need to stamp our daisies, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, on the daisies, I kind of like the lighter type shades, you know, as far as if I'm stamping it. So I'm using the smoky slate. You could actually stamp off, I think, and it would be just as pretty. In fact, let's do that down in the corner here. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to come in here and see what color I get. Yeah, I like the lighter like that. You can do the darker too. Absolutely, you could do a couple of shades really to get a different variegated type look. But we're going to put a little bit of color on those, and I want them to have more of a shadowed natural shading effect on them, and that's why I'm going with the little bit lighter shade by stamping it off. Okay, so now we've got our daisies all stamped out, and we'll color those in a minute. We'll let them dry. I'm going to have to, bear with me a second, I did, unless I have it underneath here, my pineapple, I think I put it up. Let me go get my pineapple real quick. Okay, so here's my pineapple punch, and what I'm going to do is kind of give me a little bit of a daisy background here. So I like doing color on color, and this is our pineapple punch. It also is one of our retiring colors, so if you haven't gotten the pineapple punch and would like it, this would be a great time to get it. I love this color. It's a really soft and pretty yellow, and I've used it quite often. So, and it doesn't matter how you stamp this, just kind of randomly put them different directions, off the paper, on the paper, whichever is fine. You want to cover kind of most of it. Now your center is going to be somewhat covered, so if you don't want to get all the way into the center, you probably wouldn't have to, but I kind of go towards there in case my paper that I'm going to layer on top happens to show anything. I want to make sure I've gotten enough of that kind of background going on. Isn't that gorgeous though? All right, so we'll put that ink away. And next we're going to go ahead and let's layer it on here because we can, and we're through with this portion. We're not going to add any more. Isn't that gorgeous together? I just love those colors. Let me get my Tombow glue here. So I hope that if you haven't had a chance, definitely go out to our Stampin' Up website, and you're welcome to, I'd love to have you go out to mine and go to Shop With Me and look at the retired list. I'll try and get that list on a Excel format onto my blog as well, and perhaps I'll figure out a way to attach it on YouTube. I'm still kind of new to how to attach certain things onto it. So anyway, if you need that retirement list, feel free to also contact me. My email address is stampingwishes@gmail.com. Very easy to remember. All right, so now I think it's time for us to go ahead and let's stamp. I've lined it up on my Stamparatus here. So we're going to go in here, line this up with the magnets here. I want to make sure that we've got a good little hole there. And that looks pretty straight. I think I might tilt this just a little. It looks like it could go just a little bit that way. Okay, let's go ahead and use our Tuxedo Black. And come on in here and stamp our thank you. Give a little pressure there. Gorgeous, but I think we'll go a little bit more. I probably need to ink my stamp pad. I use that one a lot, so let's make it a little bit brighter. Gorgeous. And on second thought, I probably could have used some of my smoky slate too to keep the gray tones going, but I wanted the greeting to really pop out, so that's why we did that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and move that and move this out of our way. Now I think we're going to put our ribbon on before we attach our Blueberry Bliss from behind it. So let's go ahead. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to use both colors. And I'll just go ahead and cut me plenty. I like to have plenty of ribbon to fumble with when I'm trying to make my bows, especially since we're doing it here on camera. I'm sure it won't work the first time, but we'll see. All right, you know what might be cute with this, especially since I'm using two, might be to just do a pretty knot and cut the linens out. Let me go ahead and bring this back over where y'all can see it. Okay, so let me kind of, as I'm bringing this together, I want to bring this one up high enough. I brought my other one a little bit lower than I really wanted to. But you know, the more I think about this, the more I think I am going to try for a real pretty little knot here. So let's bring this in. Bring it over. Never fails when I'm on screen. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do, but let's bear with it, and you never know, we might get it out of there. It's a little bit harder to do when we're, nope, not quite what I want, so let's do it again. I kind of had this other thing going. I know I can do it with a single ribbon. I don't know if I can get it done with a double, but it was where I went, how did it go? I did right over left, and then left over right, or something like I used to do, that I would get a real pretty knot, but my mind's kind of slipping me. But this looks good because I have kind of an idea of what we might put right in the middle of that knot anyway, even though it didn't come out quite like the knot I wanted, but I'll have to practice back on there. I haven't done knots in a while. I've been doing bows, so kind of forgot what that was. So we're going to just kind of cut these off. Let's go at the same angle. One a little bit longer than the other. And same way with this one, and we may let these kind of go the way they want to go instead of on top, but we'll see what they want to do. Ribbon is, to me, is like hair. When I do my hair, if it wants to do something, I go with what it wants to do because it always turns out better than me forcing it to do what I want it to do. So that's my theory today. All right, so now we're going to bring this up behind here, and you can do it a couple of different ways. I can either bring it out where this doesn't show and I get a little bit of the background yellow there, kind of bring this over so you can see it. So kind of do a dry fit of what you like and how you want to see it first before you do. So see, I can go this way too, and I like that look as well. Okay, so let's go ahead. What I'm going to do is put, let's see if I've got my snail runner here real quick, just for a quick attachment here. And no, wouldn't you know it, I probably ran out. Okay, so we'll use I've got some temporary here. I'll use it because we're going to be using some dimensionals once I get this on there where I want it to be. And let's look, do we want dots or we want stripes? I think dots go better with the floral design myself. Okay, let's bring this about, I think, right there looks good to me. All right, so now we've got that tacked on there. So now I'm going to come and bring my dimensionals in, and I like to prop the card up. So we'll put one here, one there, and always feel generous with your dimensionals because it always keeps your card intact and gives it a nice firm look, doesn't buckle on you in the center or decrease in the center. Okay, and one last one here. All right, isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so we'll go ahead and lay that down. Now for the daisy, what I think I want to do is to come in here with some of the pineapple, and let's go ahead and color. I'm going to speed up through this portion of it, but I'm just going to kind of trace around the leaves and give it some yellow, and I am using the darker pineapple. Okay, so we're done with the coloring of the outside. Now I'm going to bring in real quickly some of the dark soft suede for the center of the flowers, since they usually kind of have that darker effect there. And we're going to be bringing some jewels on it too. And I may use, for just to kind of give a difference, on the other one, I thought that was a little bit lighter. I did use my light soft suede the first time because I like to be able to see that the seedling areas comes out a little bit, see how the difference is there. And you can bring in your darker too. So when you're doing this, you might want to do that and just use the dark as a shading if you need to, but I'll just do this real quick. My other end of my nib has gotten bent in one of my classes, so I need to order. In fact, speaking of that, you might want to order, because our blends are not going away, but I do understand that we're going to kind of give you a hint, we're going to be going to the combo sets and not the individual ones as we buy now. So if there's some that you need to replace just the individual right now, usually I replace both of mine when I do them, because I use them equally as much, but every once in a while I'll have a nib go bad on one of them that I myself or someone else might not use quite the same. So as you can see, lining this punch up is not difficult at all. You want to line it up, and then once you feel like you've got it where you need it, I kind of go down with my pressure just a little bit more, and then kind of slide it in there until I am happy with the placement of the white. That's what I'm looking at, is how the white looks around each of the petals. And then punch it too. Now one of my first cards, I only did the one punch, but I kind of like the double effects of both of them and alternating them, and so that's what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and line this one up here, and I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, so that takes care of our punching and our coloring of our daisies. Now what we want to do, if you have not ordered one of our piercing mats, that one I think is also on our retirement list, and it's one of my favorites, especially in flower making. I do have several of the stylists that have different bulbs on the ends of them for my flower shaping and stuff. So if you haven't gotten it, it's an ideal thing, not only for piercing but also for that kind of work as well. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is taking my petals and just very gently with my bone folder and curling them under, because I'm going to come up on the petal side of it and bring it into a kind of a floral dimension with the center going in and the petals coming out to give it that dimension. Okay, now one of the other things that I like to do, but we can do it afterwards too, is I love to use my Wink of Stella on my leaves to give them that shimmery shining as though it might be dew on the flower. Now if I had one of my larger stylus tips like this, I would do just a ball effect, but because this one, see, is smaller, it doesn't want to do as well. So what I do is I just kind of go in and pressure it, and then I get that formation of the flower as though the petals are coming alive for you. So you can do it this way. Okay, so if you don't have the flower shaping tools like I do, then use what you do have, which we have our stylus like this, and they also come with our great scoring tool, you know, as far as our large score tool goes. Okay, so we can go ahead and move this out of the way. We don't need the mat anymore. And I'm going to go ahead with my Wink of Stella and come in here just real quick. So I'm going to speed up again. All right, so we've got the Wink of Stella on them, and if you notice when I was doing that, I don't know if you could tell, but as some of the flowers has a little bit more Wink of Stella or glimmer on it, I was squeezing the barrel here, and I like to do that. See, I got more of my color down. I like to do that to get that fresher, shinier look from a heavier Wink of Stella. I just love, love, love my Wink of Stella. So now we're going to use our mini glue dots, and we're going to come in here, and as you can see is I'm going in between the petals, and I'll do that with both sets of my medium flower and my large flower, is I'm going to go in between those, and I'll do the same thing with the last layer of it. Okay, so there we go. And then here it's going to go on our flower. In that, it just adds so much to this. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and last time I used a dimensional, but I have enough lift with this flower that I'm just going to use a couple of glue dots to attach it. And then we'll finish our embellishment and putting our inside greeting, and we will have one gorgeous card here to get in the mail. Okay, we got to watch our edges here a little bit so that I don't go too much over, but I also don't want to I should have, let's do that, yeah. Here we go. I want to be sure that our thank you stands up. So, so pretty. All right, so let's bring our embellishments. I got a couple of them out here because I wasn't real sure what I wanted to do. And I think I had colored these previously with some of my blends, and I believe I had used kind of an old olive, but on the lighter shade, it goes with this color as well. And then I remembered that I had some of my Noble Peacock, which that's another one of our retirement bundles that's going to be going into effect. So let's go ahead and use those as some of our accenting rhinestones for here. And let's put this one there. Well, maybe we will. Okay. Let's see if we want to add. You know, this time what I'm going to do is come in with some jewels from this one. On my other ones, you notice I came down, but I think let's do it a little different this time and come in here and bring those jewels. This just really, really touches off the flower as far as I'm concerned. It just gives it that beautiful shimmer just where we need it. Now, one of the things that I did, and I'll bring it a little bit closer, if you notice in here, I just absolutely love this. I took one of the gold faucet type jewels and put in the center, and then I went around with the small little, I just moved one off. I probably didn't have it stuck down hard enough. But anyway, I went in with these, let me get that back, there we go. But I went in with the small rhinestones, and I thought that made such a pretty design there, and then that's how I did those. And then on this one I used the colored pearls, which I really like that as well. And so let's see, I'm just going to bring it up and see if I think we need that extra little around. I really like it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to alternate with the smaller and then the bigger color. And then we're going to use the smaller, and I do apologize, I forgot to take my phone onto silence again, but I don't think it'll go off anymore, so we'll just ignore it. Okay, and the small again. But it's amazing what just a few of our embellishment jewels can do for the card, just to give it that elegant, just beautiful look. Let's bring this around so I can move this over and balance these in because we don't have enough room to fit another one. There we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so our card is complete. So let's bring them all back in again. Oh, let's put our greeting that I had made for this one. This is one of the ones that will be going off to the medical staff, as I mentioned earlier in my video. All right, so let's go ahead and put that in here. I hope that these designs are a cheery design that they'll enjoy and brighten their day when they get them. Okay. All right, here it is there, and here's the one previous to that with a little bit different color combination, and then my original one even with a different color combination. And I hope I've got them all in there and I kept everything in frame today. All right, until next time, happy creating and God bless.